G'day again, John Down Under Tunage here in Melbourne, Australia. I'm just jumping on board Mike MGK Boston. He's got a thread idea to show a 12 to 13 greatest hits album. So yeah, happy to have a go at it. I've seen a couple of entries so far, and yeah, hopefully I don't duplicate any ones. I haven't seen all of them, but yeah, well, I'll have a go at it. And the first one is going to be a pretty obvious one, and that is English lady Kate Bush. Of course, one of the most collected artists for me. This is a Japanese one with the obi on it. This is The Whole Story, which came out in 1986. And it's like a compilation of her songs up until then, up until the Hounds of Love era. And inside you get all the few pictures, and you get all the what the singles look like down the bottom there. Yeah, the big letdown with this one is she redid the vocal for Wuthering Heights, which of course her most well-known song and what people remember her by. Yeah, she put a more mature vocal to it, and yeah, I'm not a fan of it, but the rest of the stuff's really good. So that's the first one. Second one, we'll go to Australia, and this is a best of by the Easybeats. Yeah, Harry Van George Young, Stevie Wright, he was the lead singer, and they had a number of classic tunes. This is an American one. I'm not sure the Aussie had this cover. It's sort of a creepy looking cover, but yeah, I don't think we had that one here from memory. This was on Rhino Records, this one, that's 85 roughly. And yeah, Easybeats were a big band in the 60s for us, and their huge song was Friday on My Mind. I'm pretty sure quite a few people are familiar with that. Yeah, Sorry, that's quite an energetic track that they lead off with. Woman Makes You Feel Alright's on here. She's So Fine, that's there. Yeah, they had a few covers, but yeah, they did quite a bit of their own stuff. Yeah, Friday on My Mind, that's the big one there. Hello, How Are You? Which is actually credited as Evandrin Young, so that's interesting. So that's another one from Australia from the 60s, the Easybeats. Then to a very quirky French duo that I absolutely adored, which is Ritamitsuko, Catherine Ringer and Fred Chichin. This is a 2020 one. This is the cheap version. There's a better one with gatefold that's a numbered edition one. I've only got, this is only a standard. You got 2 records, but rather cheap. There's no inners, no nothing, and it isn't even a gatefold. So yeah, that's a bit cheapy. But the numbered one is, I think, came out 2020, and that's what that's what the labels look like. And that one's Catherine, and that one's Fred. Yeah, Catherine Ringer and Fred Chichin. I got onto them from the very early days of our show called Rage here in Melbourne. They had that song C'est Comme Ça, and they got like this dancing monkey and just weird camera angles, and Catherine looks just absolutely crazy. She's a very quirky lady, and yeah, I'd highly recommend you don't look too closely into her background if you want to know what she was up to before her singing career, but we'll leave that alone. Yeah, the best track, Marsha Baylor, that's a really good tune, really jivey, sort of South American-y, bossa nova type sound, really good. Andy, of course, and yeah, C'est Comme Ça, that's on the second side, yep. And they also did Singing in the Shower as well, Singing in the Shower with the Sparks. So those who know the Sparks might even know about Ritamitsuko. Yeah, Fred died in 2007, and yeah, I think Catherine's just on her own now, so that's a best of from Les Ritamitsuko. Back to Australia again, and this is a guy that was, yeah, got plenty of gigs on Countdown for some reason, I don't know, but yeah, he wouldn't have been a fan of the teeny bop set, I don't think, but yeah, Richard Clapton. Yeah, he's a bit of a mystery apparently, because his name, Richard Clapton, is Richard came from Keith Richards and Clapton came from Eric Clapton, and apparently I just looked him up this morning to see if I could find what his original name was, and apparently people don't know it, and I certainly don't. That hits on the Infinity label. This is probably mid-70s, this issue, I think. yeah, just a muso's muse, I suppose you could call him. Yeah, it's a really good track. Yeah, Girls on the Avenue was probably his main one. Capricorn Dancer, that was another quite a well-known song in the 70s. And Down in the Lucky Country, that's another one well remembered. So yeah, he's just one of those guys. These albums are always cheap, so yeah, he's well worth it. He's just just sing songs and that's about it. So that's yeah, the best of Richard Clapton. What do we got next? Staying in Australia, and this is the Bonbons from the Sports, which is Stephen Cummings' band. Their biggest song was Who Listened to the Radio. Yeah, they're on the Mushroom label. And yeah, there's a couple of the albums at the top there. Yeah, Boys, yeah, What Did the Detective Say? That's a good one. Strangers on a Train, that's on this. Yep, there it is. Yeah, Strangers on a Train, really good tune. And How Come finishes the album off. How come, da 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 da. Yeah, really, really good stuff. So that's an introduction if you want to get into the sports. Is the album, compilation album Bonbons. And Australia again, bit of glam. This is Hush. The main guy out of this was Les Gock. I think he ended up being a producer and don't know if he got into TV, I'm not sure. But yeah, very glammy, very early-ish, mid-70s. And yeah, this is called Nothing Stays the Same Forever, which was supposed to be the best of Volume 1. I wouldn't mind, I'm pretty sure there was no Volume 2. Sort of had a few years of popularity and that was it. And that's on the Wizard label. And yeah, this is a gatefold. And there they are there. Big hair, bright shirts, bit of satin going on, bit of few feathers by the looks as well. So yeah, that's there was their big song. Yeah, Boney Morania was their big one. Come On, We've Taken Over. Yep, and Glad All Over. They did that. So yeah, there's a bit of 70s glam from Australia, and that is Hush. And with the same sort of name, but from England, and far more classy, was Lush. The shoegaze, absolute, my favourite of those is of that era was, and this is Chow, the best of 2018, I think. It's a red vinyl, and they're just utterly brilliant. Yeah, Mickey Berenghi and Emma Anderson, just stunning sound. Oh yeah, it's a double. Yeah, it's a double red vinyl. I think they're just both the same. Yeah, the labels are both the same. There's just different colour on each side. Yeah, they were just brilliant. I love their sound. I was getting their stuff just as I was getting into CD. So yeah, pity I didn't get vinyl because a lot of that stuff's worth pretty good money for the early EPs. Oh, pardon me. And yeah, that's Chris Ackler, who died unfortunately in '96. But yeah, there's the girls there. But you got tons of good stuff. Lady Killer, Single Girl, Shake Baby Shake about the Fiat 500, Hypocrite, of course, that's a killer tune. Yeah, they got a bit more poppy sort of later, which might have pissed a few people off. But I love both eras. I like that swirly, sort of Guthrie-inspired sort of feedbacky sound they had with yeah, Sweetness and Light, Thought Forms, and Monochrome's their best track. I love that. That is absolutely gorgeous. So that's a best of from Lush. And keeping in Britain, I think Mike showed the other version of this one that I've got to show because I just absolutely adore them, and Mrs. does too, and Sisters of Mercy. This is their greatest hits volume 1, A Slight Case of Overbombing, and that's the one with the colour cover, which is the 92, well the CD came out in 92, I remember it. And yeah, just like a best of lyrics inside, but look at that. Yeah, and the absolute killer track is Temple of Love brackets 92, because that's the one that they had off Rahaza doing the background vocals, and she is an absolute stunning singer. Short life, unfortunately, but yeah, there's some good memories in that song. But yeah, they got more Dr. G. A lot of these they played at the concert they were at late last year. This Corrosion, Walk Away, and Body and Soul. which is sort of a more broodier sort of sound. So brilliant. Yeah, love the sisters. And they were that's just on a plain black vinyl, which probably suits them. I'll go to Australia again. This is, he was a well-known lad in the 70s, is Ted Mulry. He was part of the Ted Mulry gang, or TMG as it shows there. Looking quite pleased with himself, and this is on the classic Albert label. This was the greatest hits. Yeah, the first song he had was in quite a few years earlier called Julia. It's like a ballady type sound. And then we get into their, Falling in Love Again. That was another one of his cheesy songs. Then Jump in My Car, which our grade 6 teacher absolutely hated because they just kept saying Jump in My Car so much, but he couldn't stand that song. But yeah, it was really good, I reckon. Jamaica Rum's, good tune. Darktown Strutter's Ball, that's another good one. So yeah, they're the photos of the time, that sort of 70s look. So yeah, greatest hits from Ted Mulry, or Ted Mulry Gang. What do we got next? Siouxsie and the Banshees, and the Once Upon a Time, or the singles. I think this is quite an early comp. I think this is about 81, and that's the inner. And that one's on Polydor, which I think mine's a New Zealand pressing from memory. And of course you've got the lyrics of the song. So yeah, you got Hong Kong Garden, Happy House, Spellbound, and of course Arabian Nights. Yeah, really good. Love their sound. And yeah, that's the back of it. Yeah, it's not a gatefold, this one, just a standard one. So that's one from Siouxsie and the Banshees. And then we'll go, I don't know if anybody's picked this yet, I thought it's like an obvious one, but that's the greatest hits from Roxy Music. Of course led by Brian Ferry. And this is the pre their disco-y stuff, which came from the Flesh and Blood and the Manifesto, and probably even Avalon was a bit, different. But they were sort of moddy, sort of, whatever you call it, that sort of 70s, not really glam, but slightly like that. But yeah, great tunes. Always liked them. Like I said in another video, the first cassette I ever bought was Brian Ferry's, the Roxy Music Avalon when it came out. But there you go. Yeah, Love Is the Drug, Mother of Pearl, Thrill of It All, Street Life are all on it. And then on the other side, you've got Virginia Plain, Do the Strand, All I Want Is You, got a gorgeous Pyjamarama, and Additions of You. So that's a nice one to have. It's quite cheap. It's always seen, it's quite easy to find in the shops. And then this is, she's not here to say, but the missus's choice, Hot Chocolate and Greatest Hits. And that's on the RAK label. Yeah, this is definitely her choice. And who was he? Errol? I can't remember his name now, but yeah, she was a massive fan of him. And of course, yeah, Everyone's a Winner. Started with a Kiss, You Sexy Thing. All the stuff people had in the 70s. Girl Crazy's on the... Emma's on it, which, yeah, sisters, we got torture with that, but they didn't play it at the thing. But yeah, the sisters do a version of Emma. And of course it finishes with Heaven's in the Backseat of My Cadillac. So that's one you probably didn't think I'd have, but I actually quite like it too. So that's Hot Chocolate. And the last one I've got is Australian again, and this is called Now That It's Over, the Best of the Master's Apprentices. That was Jim, it's a EMI Australia label. Yeah, Jim Keys. The main one was Glenn Wheatley, of course, who ended up being a very successful manager. And yeah, Because I Love You turned into a huge song in the 80s, I think, for a jeans ad or some clothing, I think, and they even re-released it because of that, so you hopefully got a bit of money out of that. But yeah, Turn Up the Radio, I remember as a little kid hearing that when Mum and Dad had it, and I thought, geez, that's a pretty rough sort of sound for my young ears, but it was really good. Yeah, turn up your radio, it's really good. So yep, that's the final one to show, is the Master's Apprentices Best Of. So there we go. There's the ones I've got for you, Mike. yeah, it's a really good thread. I really enjoyed doing it, and I'm sure there's some other ones I'm going to go and check out. So, yeah, geez, it's getting hot in here. I'll need the aircon in a minute. Yes, everybody watch. Thanks very much, and see you later.